Hello world, I'm Chris Pirillo, and you're watching another live edition of the LockerGnome Daily Report, or TLDR for short. Maybe you're listening to it. I don't know. Maybe you're doing both, because we're simulcasting on YouTube and then posting an audio file that you can download as a podcast and listen to in your own way that you want to listen to what it is that I'm saying without the wild gesticulations, unless you can hear them as my hands breeze past the microphone. Your daily dose of geek news, reviews, and answers that you can use. Like an answer to the question, Chris, how many supernomies do you have today? 846 as of right now. And I'm very, very grateful for them. Because if it weren't for them, TLDR would not have been rebooted at the beginning of this year. And I'm very, very happy to say that so many are still with us. We're going to be live streaming some amount of New Year's Eve together with you and the team that I have around me physically, because Liz and John are visiting. Bob won't be able to make it necessarily, but we will be here for you. And my hope is on New Year's Eve to do some Subservient Chris stuff. I'll be taking requests, specifically from people who are the patrons. And if you want to take, take a request, you can take requests as well. But if you want to give me a request, just sign up, become a patron, become one of the supernomies. It's very, very helpful, and so I'm going to have fun, at least on New Year's Eve. The other days of the year, I'm going to be insanely serious, to an insane degree, and keep using the word insane. No, I'm not going to be serious, but that is serious. It's a serious topic to cover. So today, I'm going to review the thing that I think a lot of people have been waiting for me to review, not the Surface Pro 3, not the iPad Air 2, No, I'm going to be reviewing me. The state of me. Not the physical state, but where we are, really, in the grand scheme of things. And I just kind of wanted to bring you along, if only so that you might have a better idea or a better perspective as to what I've kind of seen, where I've been, where I want to go, and how you can be a part of that as well. Whether or not you're one of the supernomies, or you're just a regular fan, or subscriber, or follower, or just someone who likes listening to a very high-pitched, whiny voice. You don't have to remind me of that. Trust me, I'm the last person you need to tell that I have a voice that I have, but I can't change that any more than you can change your voice, at least as easily. In the beginning, when I signed up for a YouTube account, I didn't know what it was going to be. The first video that I uploaded, of course, was kind of silly. It was. I've always had that silly streak in me. And a lot of the videos that I uploaded over time, even though they kind of weaved in and around technology, there was a fair amount of geekiness in there as well. A lot of the live streams that I did were interactive, and we covered a lot of topics well beyond technology, including talking about cultures and where people happen to be from. I remember for a while, we did a series based on the feedback you gave, like people from around the world would say, here are top 5 things to do in my city. And it was kind of neat to get a geek's perspective, or someone in our community's perspective on what someone might be able to do if they were to visit. Because, you know, people travel every so often. So I've done a lot of things, is what I'm saying. I have a lot of varied interests. And last year, I made the decision. All right, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, well, I guess it was last year. I made the decision to effectively split the channels and create a separate YouTube channel. This YouTube channel, the one you're watching, Geek Lifestyles, has largely been the place for me to do live streams. This is a live video stream. It's one of the bonuses for all the patrons and all the supernomies. Well, they're one and the same. I love that word, but I realize it's a turnoff for some, so that's why I also use the word supernomies. It's more friendly, because everyone, you are one of my nomies, if you're watching. If you want the bonuses, then you're one of the supernomies, but you're all my nomies. So thank you for the support in any way you can give it. I made the decision to split the vlog, or I guess keep the vlog in the classic LockerGnome channel, because Google Plus, oh God. Okay, I'm not going to slag it. I've done enough of that. I do not need to pull out the stick. This is the stick when I start beating a topic to death. I've beaten that one. I'd say it beat Google Plus to death, but I think it beat me to it. So when they made the decision with identity and doing all the things they were doing, this classic channel of mine, LockerGnome, the one that you likely subscribed to initially, it was Chris Pirillo. And the problem with being Chris Pirillo is it's a great problem to have, let me tell you, because I can't be anything else. But Chris Pirillo is interested in certain types of technology topics. He loves talking about trends. He does a little bit of gadget stuff, but over the period that he's done video things, or even has been doing LockerGnome for a couple of decades, didn't really go deep into hardware things. He wasn't really a gadget guy. And yes, I realize I'm talking about myself in the third person. But I'm saying that Chris is a very complex creature. He enjoys coffee in the morning. He enjoys trying new beers, specifically stouts and porters. He likes trying new foods, new snacks. He likes collecting things like Garbage Pail Kids and Star Wars stuff, specifically Darth Vader. He loves certain types of shows like Game of Thrones and Star Wars Rebels and Doctor Who. He enjoys cartoons. He enjoys nostalgia. He enjoys a lot of things. And it's very difficult to find an audience that also enjoys all those things. Because while you may be interested in Star Wars stuff, you may not be interested in Lego. And while you might be interested in Lego, you may not be interested in technology. And you might be interested in technology, but you might not be interested in... You get where I'm coming from? It's kind of difficult to be topic focused when the person is the topic. And so I've struggled with this. I admit it. I tweeted this morning, if I had a nickel for every time I've done something wrong, I would be happy. Trust me, it would be great because I've made so many mistakes. It's so funny. When others trying to point out that I was wrong, I'm like way ahead of you. I know. I've made a lot of, not just bad decisions, but it was like one of the Doctor Who episodes that I just watched. I binged this weekend. Sometimes you have to make a decision, and either way, it's going to be a bad decision. And sometimes I feel like I've faced that, and it's challenging to do a video or to have a channel on YouTube where you are yourself and you have certain passions and you have certain perspectives and you're happy to do it. And I'm very, very happy to do it. I think you can tell when I get really animated about something or when it feels like I've just gone over something over and over again, or I'm just not into it. If my heart's not into it, it's very difficult to emote that. So when I had noticed a while back not just when Google Plus made the change and made this classic channel, Chris Pirillo, the other one, I recognized that people liked the vlog. A lot of people did, and I think they still do, and I do it every day. And now it's different, but I'll hopefully get to that in just a moment. First, I kind of want to tell you where my head's at, because I think it's very important, especially if you've enjoyed things that I've done in the past. You want to see this kind of go and grow into the future. I think it's very, very important. So I decided to just make the classic Chris Pirillo channel the vlog channel. It made the most amount of sense. The engagement was high. It was sustained. Nothing I had done before in relation to technology came even close at all. Technology, it tends to be such a divisive topic where if I present something and its opinion, and that's most of what I might share, if someone has a different opinion, then they automatically assume that I hate them because they share a different opinion. But I don't. I don't care. I mean, I do care. I care about you, but not to the point where if we have a differing opinion, I'm going to say, oh, you're a horrible person. Some people just don't have that maturity level, unfortunately. And they'll use the technology at their disposal as a weapon. So I found that there was a great amount of positivity in what we were doing with the vlogs. It was a lot more personal. It was a lot more fun. It was a lot more engaging. It meant a lot to me because I was documenting my daily life, having fun, sharing experiences, and it's been good. It's a part of my life. I enjoy vlogging. We're now close to 1,000 vlogs. And it's fun. I realize that it's not for everybody, but it's also one of the reasons why I've kind of been modifying things a bit, at least in recent weeks, just based on some knowledge and intelligence that I've kind of come to. I wouldn't call it intelligent. I just came to it. Whether it's going to be fruitful or not, that remains to be seen. The thing is, I'm always looking to evolve. I'm always looking to change. I'm always looking to do better. Always, always, always. And I know at any given day, I could have done a better job at explaining myself, at recording something, at doing anything. And that's important because the one thing that I have is not just what I have in my head. It's the connection I have with you. If you're watching, if you're listening, it's that connection. That's the one thing that, I've really been protective of. I really have. That's the most valuable thing I have. Is that attention that you give me. I know that. I recognize that. Some people may not understand that. But I also have different stresses and different pressures that I find very difficult to compensate for. So I've done my best to, kind of roll with the punches. For years, blogging was a great way of communicating with people. I think, I'm not going to go as far as to say blogging is dead, although I probably could, but very few people check blogs anymore. Everything's in social. Like, if it doesn't show up in your Facebook feed or your Twitter stream, you didn't see it. Which is a challenge when you're someone like me who's producing stuff that you may want to see, but you just didn't know it was there. I get a little antsy. That's a friendly word to use. Frustrated is probably a more appropriate term. When someone asks me to do something that I've already done. That's frustrating to me because I've already done it. And they want it from me, but I've already done it. And I feel responsible because it's great that people respect what I say or my perspective enough that they're asking me. But it's frustrating because I know I've already done it. And I can't accommodate it in an easier fashion. So this is the plan. I'm kind of getting to, a grander part of everything. I'm not really going off of an outline. Because of the supernomies, because of the patrons, I've been able to survive past ad support, because unfortunately ad support is a great challenge when what you do may not generate a lot of ad revenue. It does generate ad revenue. We're very grateful for sponsors. But a lot of the tech news that people might want me to cover on a regular basis has zero shelf life. And so people may not watch it after it had been produced. So I was trying to look beyond that. I was looking to produce more things that they call evergreen, things that kind of live on forever. Because of your support that way, I've been able to find and bring in Liz. I've been able to bring in John. John is from Front Page Tech. He's been editing some of the videos that we've been doing, and we'll be giving Construct as we roll forward, likely in the next month or so. So pay attention. I should have said pay attention to the beginning of the video, but that kind of goes without saying. I have not done a fantastic job. I admit it. I'm doing my best. That's all you got to know. I'm doing my best with the resources at my disposal. There's so much more that I want to do, and so much more that I think I can do. So in 2015, here's kind of what's going to happen. We're going to continue to do the stuff kind of that we're doing. It's just going to happen differently. We have LockerGnome.com that still exists. We're doing our best to find its place in the grand scheme. I don't know if we found it yet, quite honestly. The tech news thing on LockerGnome did not work. Even doing how-tos and tutorials on LockerGnome did not work because, unfortunately, the time that it took to produce something, nobody would see it. It wouldn't get traction because everybody's blogging, and with everybody doing the same kind of thing, you're an island in the stream. You're just another one in the archipelago of content. There have been great challenges with that, and of course, I've beaten my head up against the wall so many times. That's a metaphor, by the way. Or I didn't actually do that. Don't take it literal, please. I didn't do that. But it feels like I have on some days. Right now, what we're doing with LockerGnome is I'm kind of scouting for a new theme of sorts that I think could be a better way of surfacing what I would like to do with it. I've come to a point in my career with what I'm passionate about and what I care about and what I think is going to work and what works for me, where I want to continue to share my opinions. I want to share happiness and joy, but in the realm of technology, I got to do it differently. And I do want to do it differently, and you've seen snippets of that in some of the videos that we've been producing. With LockerGnome.com, it may very well evolve into being something that is, that Chris Pirillo, the sphere of Chris Pirillo. And I hate being an adult. I take on adult responsibilities to the nth degree. I don't think anybody could accuse me otherwise. I mean, I'm very, very, very meticulous and very responsible. That's one of the things I pride myself in. Very few other things I can take pride in doing. But I very much fulfill those roles. But I'm still a kid at heart. And I think that's very, very important for people to remember. And it's difficult to explain to a 14-year-old that a 40-year-old can be a kid at heart and still have fun and still exist and still continue. Plenty of people doing that. And I have to do a better job at making that a core part of what we're doing in the grander scheme. It's been difficult for me to do tech the way that other people have done tech, because I'm not a reporter, I'm not a journalist, I don't have a team of support in that sense. The over a period of time since the beginning of when I began this, in 1996, whatever this is, the tech, when I talk about it, would be websites, web services, software that you could download, apps, what they'd be called nowadays. I didn't really do a lot of gadget stuff. Didn't really do a lot of hardware stuff. I really didn't. That was never my thing. And so I'm still struggling with how to better do the reviews that you want from me, because I know people, what phone, what tablet? I'm like, I don't know. I don't have like, a stack of them sitting in my office. I mean, I just don't. I get them as they come in and take, the opportunities that they come in, because otherwise I wouldn't get it. I can't necessarily spend, the money that I do earn on things that may not do me any better. How do I explain that? Like, so I get some things on review, which is great because it saves me a good degree of money, because I turn that money around into the business. The business has been my baby long before I had a baby. I've been taking care of it. And part of that is expanding what that business is, what it can do, and, really bring in other people. I've wanted you look at the history and you can see that I've tried to do that again and again and again and again, because I believe I want to help others. It's part of what I do. I like helping people. I just got to figure out how to do it and, still be able to pay the bills. That was a challenge with the ad model, or it has become one in recent years, and a lot of people are struggling with that if they're like me. It's one of the reasons why I went with the crowdfunding campaign and looked to the active patrons for a lot of the support, and why I throw a lot of bonuses their direction, but throw things to everybody else as well. And by the way, I realize I'm being very transparent. This is very, I'm not vulnerable or anything, but it's just transparent. I do this every so often. I think it's important for you to know. So I'm talking around all the scenarios that are going around in my head, and the things that I've kind of, been dealing with, and where I think things are going. So I intend on still producing TLDR, thanks in large part to the Supernomies. And hopefully we'll hit 1,000. I'm hoping on New Year's Eve when we do the live stream. Hopefully we'll get enough requests coming in that it'll happen. It's great to have that kind of support. I want to get to 1,000, and we'll do anything that I can to get to that point, and we'll continue. TLDR, in recent months, we've experimented not just in doing it live on YouTube, because a lot of people would watch it like a day after, but then ultimately they forgot about it. It happens. I'm not blaming you. We've simulcasted as a podcast, which I thought made a lot of sense because it's long form, and people might want to listen to me instead of just seeing me. So I think we're going to continue with the podcast. We're definitely going to continue with TLDR kind of as it has been, and we'll make some modifications as we roll on. But I think I want to bring TLDR live public after it's gone live, kind of like what we were doing in the beginning. I really believe that that is very, very helpful for a lot of people. I think it's very valuable. I've not yet really heard any feedback from patrons who have been very supportive on what they would like to do with the Q&A. And so what I think I'm going to do is, I'm still offering exclusives and a direct line to me, but I'm thinking for the Q&A that I do, possibly just time shifting it like we do with TLDR. So if you become a patron, you get to hear it, and I don't have an exact number, a week, a month ahead of everybody else. You just get a bonus. You get a sneak peek. You get the advanced screening of it, and then everybody else gets it eventually. So I think I'd like to go that way with the Q&A, because I think some of the Q&A that I'm doing is very valuable. Now, what I'm going to say is every Q&A that I've done to this point is going to remain an exclusive to the patrons. So you're not losing anything. You're gaining a side bonus, and that's that's that component. TLDR will continue. Q&A will continue for patrons, but will likely become time shifted for everybody else. So people who aren't patrons get the bonus. They just get it, and it's not really a bonus. They get the content, but they get it later. The bonus is getting it ahead of time. The vlog, I'm in love with the vlog for every good reason now. But it's going to be splitting off into its own channel, a new channel, one that we've already created. It's already got a few thousand subscribers. I'm very happy about that. the vlog is going to be going into its own channel. So if you want to follow the vlog, it's now in the Pirillo Vlogs channel. We'll have to link that in the video description. It's got it. Just go to the at Pirillo Vlogs account on Twitter. The link will be in the account description, and then subscribe from there. It's the easiest way to do it. And Pirillo Vlogs is there. It's on Facebook. We're setting that up as a separate account for a few reasons. One, because of the legacy Chris Pirillo content being all over the freaking map and being a legacy account, a lot of people subscribe for different reasons, but ultimately they subscribe because Chris Pirillo, right? Because it's me and I'm sharing some kind of whatever. Some of my top trafficked videos are Lego stuff and stuff that had nothing to do with technology. So as much as you might have gotten to know me for tech, that's not where a majority of the attention may have been drawn from over a period of time. The Lego reviews tend to be a bit more evergreen. It's just another reason why I'm trying to go deeper into that kind of content. So YouTube had a problem categorizing Chris Pirillo, or has had a problem, and I don't blame him because Chris Pirillo has had a problem categorizing Chris Pirillo. Vlogs tend to have their own kind of community, and to be recognized as a vlogger, it will be easier to start a channel pure and simple as a separate Pirillo Vlogs channel. Now, if you're asking, why didn't you do that originally? Nah, that's a voice I'm making up in my head. I'd thought through it, right? And it made the most amount of sense to me, since the vlog was so personal, to keep that in the personal channel. It just made sense. So as the Pirillo Vlogs get split out as their own vlogs channel, we're going to be, driving deeper into just, communicating with different vloggers, doing live streams with vloggers, potentially every week, continuing forward with the Vlogger Fair event, and I'll get to more of that in a second. Going into our third year on that, I'm happy with it, and I believe it's been successful. But it'll be seen as a vlog channel. It is not just me. It is myself. It is Diana. It is now Jedi. It's our family. And so we're going to be able to connect with other vloggers in a vlog-dedicated fashion. It's not just me. I tweet about the vlogs from my accounts, but it's also Diana. So she tweets about it from her accounts. But it's a separate entity. It's its own thing. There are some people who just only care about the vlog. Honestly, believe that or not. And I want to be able to satisfy them. And there are certain people who only want to hear TLDR. I want to satisfy them. So when I'm in my head how I'm trying to categorize these things, the Geek Lifestyles channel will continue forward with TLDR Live and a Q&A, which is likely going to be tech related, right there in this channel, the one that you're watching right now, or if you're listening, it's not that channel, because you're listening. It's on a completely different frequency, broadcast channel, different platform. Anyway, Geek Lifestyles will continue, and it will likely be TLDR as it has been, umbrella stuff, and the Q&A with you and me every weekday. Live streams as well. I plan on doing Geek Outs, the live stuff. But most of the content in this channel is going to be long form, live, half hour long. I've been babbling for 23 minutes. Or, Q&A, 10 minutes long, shot live. It's a certain type of content or a certain way of delivering content. The Geek Outs, live, an hour long, 2 hours long, longer form content in the Geek Lifestyles channel. Because some people want the longer form content. I'm happy. Now, here's the thing. You can subscribe to more than one channel. I don't know if anybody knew this, right? So then, this might beg the question, what's going to happen to the classic Chris Pirillo channel? And let's not forget the Diana Pirillo channel, which she created earlier this year. Very happy to say that she's almost at 10,000 subscribers. Most of what she likes to do is cooking, and it's very, very simple stuff. She's not a complex creature, and I appreciate her for it, but she makes delicious food. Oh my gosh. So Diana and I are going to continue working on her channel stuff. She loves the food thing. She's not a vlogger. She's not someone who thrives, on this and enjoys sharing her opinions. It's not her. But still, she's been able to serve a greater part of our community, thanks to the vlog, by, sharing a little more information, and, we're adding a little more perspective. If we bring more people into our community, I just don't see a problem with that. It's very, very simple, straightforward. She just does one video a week. The classic channel, Chris Pirillo, a.k.a. LockerGnome. What is going to happen with that? Well, as many patrons have been witness to, and many of you, even if you're not patrons, have seen these new videos produced called CPU, It's kind of a play on words, yes. If you're into tech at all, CPU means another thing. But I went with Chris Pirillo. You decide what the U is short for, because you are the only U I care about. Because it is absolutely genuine. I would not be here. I would be here physically, but I wouldn't be here, talking to you if it wasn't for you and the attention you give. So that is very valuable to me. CPU has been all over the map intentionally. It is not one thing. It's not. And that is intentional. But it's still very Chris Pirillo. Chris Pirillo, you. It could be a Chris Pirillo unboxing. It could be a Chris Pirillo... I don't know. There's so many U words. Uber fantastic video. I don't know. But the key with the CPU episode, this is where I think it gets cool. Another one of the patron bonuses that I'll continue is the behind the scenes of a CPU episode. So what we've been doing is something that I've never done before, and it seems to have worked. We've figured out the workflow around this. Everybody gets to see a produced CPU episode. Patrons get to see me recording that CPU episode live onto YouTube. So it's like, you get to see it produced. And so, so for example, what we did was today, I did a movie review on Plastic Galaxy, which is, it was a good movie. It was something that meant something to me. And that to me is a Chris Pirillo thing. It means something to me. That's it. And so I did a movie review. So I pulled out my Star Wars figures, was talking through it, and I knew, generally speaking, it was going to take about a half hour to get through. And then what I do is sit in front of this camera and record it, and then have another camera that I've got mounted on this other camera that's streaming it out to the patrons who are able to tune in live. So they hear me do take after take after take after take, because it's going to be an edited video. So I got to say it the right way. I got to do it the right way. Did I get it? Did I get the product in focus? Was I funny? Could I throw in a gag? I'm not going off of a script. I'm just going with what's in my head. So to me, that's like the biggest bonus I can give to patrons, is the behind the scenes of what I do when I'm going through a topic that I believe is going to be, I know is going to be turned into an edited video. And then thanks to the patrons, we were able to secure the intelligence of John Prosser to be able to edit the video, because I'm just not a fan of editing video. And plus, like I said, John can do it way better than I can. He's so skilled, incredibly talented. And I believe in elevating people who have talent. I really do. I've always tried to do that. Maybe I'll get to that in a second. Again, this is, I'm not going off of an outline. I'm just telling you where my head's been and what I've been, dealing with in my head, and where I'm trying to push things and accommodate things. CPU behind the scenes is still going to be streamed live, because it's long form, into the Geek Lifestyles channel. That behind the scenes will remain a patron exclusive. However, the produced video, we're going to turn around a produced video every weekday, that's the plan, in the classic Chris Pirillo channel, the classic LockerGnome channel. And it's going to be Chris Pirillo, because that's all I am. That's all I'm ever going to be. And it's going to be anything that interests Chris for that day or that week or that month, or anything that comes out that might be fascinating for people to pay attention to. Anything that's an edited video is likely going to go into that channel, because it'll be short form, it'll be edited, it'll be targeted to people who enjoy my perspectives, and it will not be one thing. It's going to be one thing. It's Chris Pirillo. And Chris Pirillo, as we've already covered, is just, he's interested in a lot of things. And here's the thing. I've talked about in the vlogs recently, because I talked about how I've retooled them. Every day in the vlog, if you're not watching, I really think you may find value in it, because it's not just it is my personal life, yes. And yes, there's a lot of baby Jedi in there, but damn, she's cute. I edit it in such a way that I try to make it entertaining, but I'm also telling a story. I'm now, for the past 2-3 weeks, answering a question of the day in the vlog. And I'm addressing a question. The question is more than likely personal related, or asking for advice or asking for a perspective. It is possibly, though, not tech related. The tech stuff usually goes more, or will float more, into the Geek Lifestyles, unless it's edited as a CPU video. Then it goes into the classic channel. This will make a lot of sense once you're actually seeing it. You're like, oh, now it makes sense, Chris, because I'm just talking through it right now. And it may be difficult for you to grasp the concept of how I'm trying to organize this stuff. But I'm doing it in such a way that it'll address a general community who might want to subscribe to everything, but also grow the community in a way that I'm able to, really connect with people in a way that I think is valuable to connect with people, at least by way of YouTube. If I did all of this in one channel, it would be an absolute catastrophe. Absolute catastrophe. Because I would be producing 1, 2, 3, 4 videos a day, 5, 6, maybe. I don't know. Some of them are live, some of them are not live. And if you logged into YouTube and you saw a channel that had 12 unseen videos, and you just logged in 2 days ago, like, oh, I can't. I'm not gonna catch up. Forget it. And you're gonna skip all that stuff. Versus you log in. Oh, Chris Pirillo's got 1 new video. Okay, cool. Click, you watch it. Oh, Pirillo Vlogs has got 1 new video. Click, watch it. Oh, Geek Lifestyles has got 2 new videos. Click, you watch them. It breaks it down, and so in a channel subscription, you have a better chance of being seen instead of 4 in one channel. You have a better chance of being seen if it's 1, 1, 2 across 3 channels. And organizationally, it makes a lot of sense as well. Because remember, the Geek Lifestyle stuff, long-form content, the people who subscribe aren't going to get the short stuff. That's not what they're there for. That's not what I'm going to necessarily be putting there. Versus CPU, the classic Chris Pirillo channel, short form, edited, punchy, fun, upbeat. Like, it's different, right? Not just product centric. I have a plan in the next few days to do like tips. So I want to do tips, technology, toys, T-words in the channel. What I tend to be going with, because these are all things that I'm fascinated with. Some of the tips I want to share is how I remove stickers from stuff, because I know people are searching for it, and you may be interested in knowing how I do it. Right? And I say, well, here's the product I use, or here's the process I go through. And then, hey, boom, I've done a video that's fun, it's engaging, and you're going to be able to watch it 10 years from now and possibly get as much value as you did the day I produced it. And that's valuable for me. And so I think that to grow the classic LockerGnome / Chris Pirillo channel in a way that I'd like to do it, I'm going to quote unquote hang my hat on the mostly shorter edited videos that are just fascination points for Chris Pirillo, or a topic that Chris Pirillo wants to talk about for that day. That's CPU. That's the classic Chris Pirillo channel. Pirillo Vlogs, the Pirillo Vlogs. If you haven't watched in a while, I really recommend watching some recent ones, because I think they've really been good. And I'm not just saying that because I'm doing them, because I've done a lot that I'm not proud of. I'll do a live video, and it's fun, it's easy. But, I know I could have done a better job. I'd never produce a Pirillo vlog, a personal vlog, that I don't think I've done a good job on. I've always done my best every single day with anything, but I put 110% into the Pirillo vlog. Then the Geek Lifestyles channel is the long form stuff, possibly going to be mostly tech. TLDR kind of floats in and out. I get a lot of tech news, but I do cover other kind of geeky topics, like, I might have talked today in TLDR about how I caught up on Doctor Who, and, what I thought about the Christmas episode this year. So, generally geeky things that kind of float across my desk. Like, I would have talked about the new, the Lego catalog that just came in. Very excited about a few of these sets and minifigures. Although I was sad, too, when I saw the front. Over 115 new sets. Dude, I'll be lucky to get 20. Where am I going to put them? I got to restrict myself. I can't collect everything, but I'm a fan of minifigures. And I was very excited to see a Tusken Raider minifigure. Comes with the T-16 Skyhopper. Very, very excited. Or I might have talked about this, which I really don't want to unbox. The Samurai Taisho Darth Vader. Brand new. This is just, it's breathtaking. This is so beautiful. Easily one of the most exciting pieces in my Darth Vader / Star Wars collection from Bandai. This was talked about last year, and I had to have this in my collection. Had to. This is one of those things that I know people are going to be telling me, hey, Chris, have you seen the Samurai Darth Vader? Yes, I have, as a matter of fact. So I'd want to do a CPU video on it, but I might talk about it in TLDR live as well. I don't know if I want to unbox it. I might just keep this one in the box and get another one. I'll exchange my gift cards, the Amazon gift cards that I earn. Okay, you guys probably know these links by heart, you guys and gals. Go.tagjag.com/free points and go.tagjag.com/free apps. Papa Smurf always says, yeah. So, that's where my head's at. That's, generally speaking, those are some broad sweeping brushstrokes of where things are going. I think that's going to make a lot of people happy. It may confuse some people, admittedly, and we're doing our best to simplify as much as we possibly can. You can follow on Facebook. You can subscribe to our email newsletter on LockerGnome. You can follow on Twitter, although I know I tweet a lot. We got the Patreon campaign, aka the Supernomies. It's difficult to keep up with everything that we're doing, but I think we're going to organize it in such a way that it works. I'm excited about the reboot of all these things. I really am, and it's going to begin honestly, if you're looking for the time, it's going to happen right at Vlog 1000. Like, Vlog 1000 is going to be published in the new Pirillo vlog channel. And then we're going to have to do different videos in the classic channel or a video saying, hey, this is what's going on, and I'm going to have to summarize everything I've said into an edited video that people can watch that's short and like, hey, if you want long-form geeky daily stuff, the Geek Lifestyles. If you want Chris Pirillo in your life with my perspectives and my thoughts on things that I find fun and fascinating, stay subscribed to this channel, and please keep sharing the videos. Then if you want to watch the vlogs, and I hope you do, we've got a Pirillo Vlogs channel dedicated now to the Pirillo Vlogs, starting at Vlog 1000. See how easy that was? Boy, I should just use that. Even though I kind of stumbled through some of it. Someone write that down. That was a good script for me to go by, even though I'm horrible at going by scripts. So there we go. So we'll have 3 YouTube channels for 2, I think, similar audiences, but different as well. Some people only want to watch edited stuff. Some people want long-form stuff. Some people want vloggy stuff. Some people want all 3. Some people want 2. Hey, I'm letting you pick. I'm letting you decide. I'm giving you a better opportunity. I mean, this is, because if I shoved it all in the same place, it just does not work. It cannot work. I can't stick to one topic. I'm not interested in sticking to one topic. That's all I need to say. Like, life's too short to stick to one topic. Or let me put it this way. I'm old enough to believe that life is too short to stick to one topic. And when something's not working as well as it should be, you need to adjust it. And I recognize that as an entrepreneur. If I do decide to do entrepreneurial tips, they may very well float into the classic Chris Pirillo channel as a series. Very well. I've got like 100 of them written down. It'd be cool to do. Just if only to do them, and that would fit. If it fit anywhere, it fits Chris. It fits Chris Pirillo, because that's Chris Pirillo's experiences and perspectives, and he's helping. So in my head, it works, and I think this is a better way of evolving, and we're at that point where we need to evolve. So new projects on the horizon. There are some new ones beyond the things that we've been doing. Hey man, I got to do something with my time. Apart from watching the new Star Wars Rebels episode that was released today, and I can watch it on Disney XD with Frank Oz narrating Yoda. Very excited to watch it. I wanted to watch it this morning, and then I got pulled into work, so here I am. The first thing I want to tell you about is something that I talked about on Thanksgiving Day, when I gave a shout out to all the patrons, and then did a 2-hour live stream showing people the Star Wars Advent Calendar spoilers, the Lego Star Wars Advent Calendar. I talked about a project that I'm going to be starting with Kelly Ishikawa. This is going to be based on a Patreon campaign, most likely a revolving campaign. We're doing something called Geeky Creatures. Every weekday, at least, Kelly's going to illustrate a geeky creature, and we're going to figure out a backstory behind each one. And it's going to be illustrated and fun. So, for example, a geeky creature might be, you ever had the problem where you can't insert the USB cable the right way the first time? You're not responsible for that. It's not your problem. A geeky creature's keeping it from happening. Or there may be a geeky creature who tells you to go see that comic book movie even though it's going to be a disappointment. There's a certain thing, this invisible thing that exists that we can put a face to. And it might be a robot, or it might be a monster, or it might be an alien, or it might be a amalgamation of all 3. But I want to come up with a series of geeky creatures, one every weekday. Our patrons for that, it'll be separate, because again, it's separate. It's a new endeavor. It'll be separate. I don't know where we're necessarily going to put that content yet, but my idea is we'll have a different illustration every day. Patrons will get the content like maybe a week ahead of time. And then Kelly, I think we're going to be able to set him up such that he'll be able to illustrate it in video. So you'll be able to see how he drew the geeky creature for that day. My goal with that is to not just have fun with it, and explore an imaginative side, but also to create something. My hope would be to eventually be able to take those geeky creatures, even if it was just a subset of them, and produce figures. I've always been fascinated with figures. Always. And I'd want to create a series of figures such that, if you knew of a person that always lost their their iPhone. Or, this is the geeky creature that's responsible for stealing your tablet so that you can't find it. This creature, you could buy that, like you would buy a greeting card or whatever. You could buy that creature, and this is the creature responsible. Here, blame him. Blame this guy. And you'd have that figure. So I'd want to figure out how to, quote unquote, figure out. Kelly's designed it to be able to have the ability that people could buy the figures. Maybe print on demand. We'll figure out a way, or 3Dify the figures. He doesn't know how to do that necessarily, but we may know of someone in our community who could help with that. And then people could print their own figures or print them on demand and get their own figures, their own geeky creatures. So I'm doing that as a business exercise because I think it would be a good business to go into. It's something that fascinates me. It's something that would be fun. I don't know how it's going to work yet, but it's something that's very exciting for me, and it's going to begin right around January 1st. God. We've got to talk about this, Kelly, in a couple of days, soon-ish, and we haven't really figured out the whys and wherefores yet. If not January 1st, then in January. I'm just going to make it in general, because I want to get it going. Very excited about that, very happy to do something like that. Fun to be creative. I need to be creative. I need that thing. So we'll be thinking through all sorts of bonuses to give to the people who want to be our patrons for that particular project, including, advanced peaks and, advanced graphics and commercial licensing and all that jazz. But it's completely separate from everything else that I'm doing. Although it's the same. It's part of me. So you'll see me sharing geeky creatures in my stream. I don't know where the videos are necessarily going to live yet. I don't know where they would need to live. Might possibly live in the Geek Lifestyles YouTube channel for in the immediate term. I don't know yet. I really don't have an answer to that question. I don't know if I'd be intent on setting up a new YouTube channel for it because I'm not sure if it would be enough valuable content to have its own YouTube channel because it's largely going to be Kelly illustrating the figures as they kind of came together. For people who want to learn how to draw or just want to behind the scenes. The next project that I'm spinning up should get a lot of you excited. When I first announced Vlogger Fair, I wasn't sure what to expect. And a lot of people still watch the vlogs. Some people did at the time and may no longer watch the vlogs. They got busy. Life moves on. That's the way it goes. Ebbs and flows. That's community. I wasn't sure what to expect with Vlogger Fair. And 3 years into it, we're now going into our third year. The strongest support we've seen for Vlogger Fair has been a very heavy young female demographic. That has not typically been my demographic. We hope that by splitting off the Pirillo vlog channel away from the geekier side specifically, even though obviously I'm still a geek, we may be able to find that audience and flourish in connecting with a different part of the world, this world of the internet. So that's, again, it's another reason why we're doing the Pirillo vlog separately from the classic channels. But it's largely been family vloggers that have wanted an event like Vlogger Fair, a very intimate event where they can connect with community, connect with each other, that you can't necessarily get at a large-scale YouTube-related event. For about 10 years, I produced I've been producing longer than that, a conference, an event called Gnome Decks. For 10 years, I ran it, and it became a frustration for me in its final years, and it felt like it needed to rest for a while. I'm bringing back the idea of Gnome Decks, the spirit of Gnome Decks, but in a different way. So, some people were very excited when the Gnome Decks account tweeted over the weekend. It's like, maybe coming back in 2015? They're like, what? Really? What? Because it was a good event. It really was a good event. Well, for the most part. I definitely made some missteps, but I'm not a conference producer necessarily. But what I'm going to do is reboot Gnome Decks as an event. So we're going to have Vlogger Fair as an event in Seattle and another event in Seattle called Gnome Decks this year, or I guess next year, 2015 at the time of this recording. So, Gnome Decks as a reboot. It is for the geek. If Vlogger Fair wasn't for you, might have been, might not have been. If it's not for you, I am addressing the geeky side of the audience. Now, when I'm saying geek, it's an umbrella term because there are tech events, there are geek culture events, there are different kinds of events and different segments, but no event is effectively elevating the geek social media person. Or I hate to say celebrity because I never like being described that way, but the person who's got notoriety. So if you follow a whole bunch of tech YouTubers and they have, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of subscribers, those are the people that I'm going to be bringing in to Gnome Decks. If you follow Minecrafters, like people like Basher, who I met and he lives local, I want to bring in Minecrafters, tech people, potentially some toy geeks, cosplayers. It's not just about tech when I say the word geek, because I have a different fascination. I want to bring in the Star Wars fans. I want to bring in the sci-fi fans. There are YouTubers who are very, very popular. Maybe not people that you're aware of because you're not interested in those things, but there's such an insane amount of crossover, just like an insane amount that nobody else is addressing. Nobody is addressing the YouTube geek. Nobody is addressing the social media geek in event. Because it's not just about YouTube. Some of them are really big on Instagram. Some of them are really big on Facebook. Some of them are really big on Twitter. Not all of them big on YouTube. So it's to elevate and to better connect with other social media people, geeks who are using social media as a platform. However they define geek. As a cosplayer, as someone who loves sci-fi, as someone who loves toys, as someone who just geeky kinds of things. Someone who loves tech, someone who loves Minecraft. Man, I'm telling you, the crossover is insane. I dare you. Even Basher, he's into Minecraft. That's what people know him for, but he loves Star Wars. Crossover. You could point, if you pointed at the average geek and you only knew them for one of their fascinations, chances are they have another geeky fascination, another geeky passion. And so what I'm trying to do is take that Venn diagram and bubble it together in a way that no one else has done. But at the bottom, or at the core of Gnome Decks, this event that is going to happen, that we're going to bring together all these geeky social media folks that you may have heard of or you may not have heard of. It's about that geek culture and people who use social media as a platform to connect with the community, in a way that they couldn't do it before. So it's going to be the first event of its kind, not just for techie YouTubers, not just for geeky tweeters, not just for geeky Instagrammers or nerdy Tumblers, people who thrive on nerd culture and use social media to connect with one another. I mean, we all have different things that we're interested in. And I'm just going to do my best to put a finer point on that. At its core, I think that the core is probably going to be in relation to tech and Minecraft, no doubt about it. But I'm also very fascinated, of course, with Star Wars. You know me. I gotta bring that in. I gotta do my best to engage with Disney. I gotta do my best to engage with Lego. I gotta do my best to engage with all these companies that connect with geeks. And I'm just telling you, it's there. I see it. It's there. That's where I live. That's where I am. That's me. Nostalgia. It's fun. It's geeky. It's right there. So there are other events that are addressing different types of segments. Geeks cannot go to a YouTube event and feel like they're served. It just doesn't happen. So it's a geeky kind of social media, mostly YouTube event. We'll see. I'm going to try it. We're going to try it. So why Gnome Decks is a name? Why not? Well, because I don't want to put tech in the title because it's not just about tech. But the acronym I came up with, or we came up with in the patron hangout that we do after TLDR, it's another patron bonus. Trying to do it every weekday. Sorry I'm running long today, but I had to kind of process through my plans for 2015 with everybody that I hope everyone's still paying attention to. The Gnome Decks we came up with Geek and Nerd Omni Media Expo. Omni Media. GNOME. So Geek, Nerd, Omni, Media, Expo. GNOME. And then Dex. It's short for Expo. So Expo. Gnome Dex. It's actually an old play on word on Comdex. That's how Gnome Dex, the name, came about. Because I wanted something like a Comdex, but where I could connect with people that I wanted to meet. Like the people that were internet famous people. That's what the original vision for Gnome Decks was. And so I'm kind of going back to its core and kind of expanding it a bit based on the successes we had with Vlogger Fair. It's going to be like a Vlogger Fair for geeks. That's the goal. That's the hope. And so I'll be engaging with brands. I'll be engaging with your favorite geek icons. It was interesting when I was doing the Geek Out with Barnacles. Of course, Jerry's in. I mentioned this, and Andre, Black Nerd, was on. He's like, I'm interested in this geek YouTube media event you're talking about. Of course. Andre, to me, he's the pinnacle of geek culture on YouTube. The pinnacle. Andre is the geek. But I also want to reach out to other geeks that I know of, like Brick Queen. Every day she's so she's doing a different Lego show or showing off a different toy. I mean, these are geekier pursuits and they're fun and fascinating, and I love them. I want to fill my entire day and timeline with them. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun to see how it comes together, but I plan on inviting every top geeky personality in social media that I could possibly find who can do it within reason, because someone's got to foot the bill. But Gnomedex is coming back with a vengeance, and it's going to be like a vlogger fair for geeks, for you to connect with your favorite internet personalities in the world of geekery, as well as, connect with other geeks. That's the thing. I've always loved. This is something that's a core part of my ethos. One of the reasons why I like doing CPU the way that I'm doing it, the video series where it's just like whatever, is because some of the greatest things that have ever happened in my life happened because I didn't ask for them. I wasn't expecting them. I was not expecting the Darth Vader figure that I got as a gift. It kicked off a Darth Vader collection. I was not expecting the Lego set that ultimately brought me back into the world of Lego, which is now a love. It's a love of mine. It wouldn't have happened. So many things that happened that were gifts to me that other people loved, they became a part of me. And as much as I just love the tweets that I get, hey, Chris, I watched Star Wars this weekend for the first time. Thanks to you. Thanks. It was awesome. I don't know where that's going. That is so amazing, right? Or Bowler Forever. He's been a part of the community. He said for 8 years, he sent me an email, and it's a little personal, but he basically said that what I had done within tech basically inspired him to pursue the career. That's amazing. So how I inspire someone, by showing them something they didn't know before, I just want to keep that door open. I'm going to go to this too. Bill Tong, Richard Wooding. I'm so in debt to you. And he's a Nomi too, or Super Nomi, one of the Super Nomis. A patron. He told me about Bill Tong. He's like, you got to try Bill Tong. It's South African beef jerky. The best beef jerky I've ever eaten in my entire life. Like, in fact, I tried it, a different brand. He told me a specific brand. I tried the different brand. The different brands sucked. He was right. Only get this one brand that I talked about in CPU. And it did. It changed my life. I told Diane, I'm like, this is the only beef jerky we need to be buying. This stuff's amazing. Oh, it's so good. Oh, it's so good. I've got some on order, and I need to keep it like on a subscription because I need Bill Tong. It's like one of those foods you need in your life. It's like a good beer. It's like a good coffee. It's like a good wine. It's a good jerky. This is like the king of jerkies. But I only knew about it because someone told me. I don't search for beef jerky stuff proactively. Someone presented it to me as a thing. I'm like, cool. I love that. I love when I can step outside what I might know and someone might be able to open that door for me, and then I learn something new. I mean, I got into Battlestar Galactica, the new series, because they had at the EMP, they had the traveling show for the Battlestar Galactica props and stuff. And I said, I kind of got into it when I was a kid, but never really, remembered it that much. I was a kid. I liked the show, I remember, because it was kind of spacey and futuristic and fun, at least from a kid's perspective. I can't sit through an entire episode as an adult, but I got into the show because I saw the props. So I appreciated having that experience that I otherwise wouldn't have had. So that is part of the goal of doing CPU kind of content. That is part of the goal of, expanding other people's horizons by sharing the passions or the things that I'm passionate about. And Gnomedex, I think, fits very well within that construct. We also plan on, I don't have any dates, by the way. No dates, no prices. If you want to look at pricing schemata, it's probably going to be a lot like the way Vlogger Fair was handled. So we'll probably have early bird pricing, VIP pricing, different bonuses, different values. And it will be happening in Seattle, I can promise you that. Hello, I'm in Seattle. We're going to be rebooting the LockerGnome app, which is currently available for Android and iOS. We're going to be migrating platforms and a completely different kind of tool set. I'm working with the people who basically created the company that is helping communities grow. So I plan on, if there's any kind of deep community engagement that lives beyond Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, whatever, the LockerGnome app will be it. We're not going to use a website to manage community anymore. Community's difficult to manage on a website. Everyone's going mobile. We're going to have the community surfaced in the mobile app. You're going to hear about that every day. We're going to be pushing daily polls for everybody there. Yes, some super nomies are going to get bonuses through that app. Yes, we're going to have in-app purchases for some people. It's not going to be locked down. I really don't want to serve ads in the app personally. I don't want to get to that point because ads, I know, they're annoying. I get it. I'm trying to get away from ads, and I've told you how to make that possible, but I haven't found enough patrons yet to make that possible. I'm doing my best. I really am. But a lot of community engagement features you'll see me talking about in TLDR. Hopefully, get back to a top user of the day or a top Nomi, one of the Nomis of the day. Again, community engagement, and it'll be living within the app for the foreseeable future, iOS and Android. They don't have the Android version available, which is why we haven't been able to reboot it, and we've been busy on a couple of other things. God, I want to say that's about it, but I just wanted to take this time right here on the cusp of the new year to talk about this stuff. If only so I can say I did it, and I let you in kind of behind the scenes of where my head's at, where I want to go, where we've kind of been. Not necessarily why we're having to make these decisions, or at least you got sprinkles, bits and pieces of why we kind of had to have to make these decisions. We have to move as the industry moves. We have certain realities that we have to face, and it's not always easy when you're not someone who set out to do what it is that you're doing. So thank you again for your patience, your enduring support, your attention. That's really the most valuable thing that you have for anybody, and certainly for us in our endeavors to be able to do a few more things as we roll forward. I want to try new things, and I want to keep doing the same things that I was doing, but in a way that works. I'm going to start winding down here, but one of those things that I talked about that I've been frustrated in dealing with, I've been wanting to expand the team for a lot of reasons. One, I want to be able to do more of the kind of content that I think people might want that I can't necessarily do outright because I don't have the same mindset. It's kind of like I feel like I'm a square peg getting shoved through a round hole sometimes, and it's difficult to do because I know that's a hole I need to go through. For reviews, we're going to try something where I think I'm going to do it tomorrow. The next review we're going to record for CPU is the Surface Pro 3 review. And last week, I did a video, a TLDR highlight of, hey, what do you want to see in a Surface Pro 3 review? And a lot of people responded. What I'm going to do is cherry pick between 5 and 10, hopefully good questions, where the review is dictated by you. Instead of me running through a laundry list of here's the specs, here's the shot, you've seen all that stuff. I could do that, but I'm not a videographer. I've tried. I really have. Vlogging's about as good as it gets for me, right? Even if I had fancy schmancy equipment or fancier schmancier equipment, I don't know if I'd be able to do as well. So the goal is the reviews. If I do a review on something, it's based on the questions that you want me to answer. So if someone says, "Hey, Chris, how did it handle this?" Or "What did you find this? What was the most this? What was the that? What was this?" Or "Hey, what did you think about?" And then I basically take your questions, put them in as a part of the video review itself, and that's my review. My review of a product that I've used or that I have is based on the things that you want me to address. So then if you say, well, I didn't cover X, Y, and Z, well, that's because it didn't get asked or I wasn't able to cover it. But it's largely going to be dictated by you. You're in control of me. And it's a value for everybody, right? So we're going to experiment. I'm experimenting with that. I'd really like to do that, if only to get more involvement. And, then you could say your name potentially got into, if you're asking a good question that's valid. I like the good questions, not like, how fast does it run? Look at the specs, dude. I'm not here to read a spec sheet. How did you feel it worked in daylight? Well, let me step outside and do it in daylight and show you, or whatever. And then it'll be edited and fun and upbeat and hopefully upbeat. I only like reviewing products that I like, which is a challenge sometimes because there are not a lot of products that I like. It's another reason why I steer away from hardware. So I wanted to cover that before closing because I know that's important for a lot of people, the reviews. I got to do it in a way that it doesn't stress me out, and I keep trying and I keep trying. I try to do them drunk, and I don't think that's a very professional thing to do. Fun, yes, but I want to do the reviews based on I got to figure out the rubric, and it's going to be between likely 5 to 10 comments that you post on a separate video teaser, like, hey, I'm getting ready to do my X review. What do you want to know? Leave your question as a comment, and it may make it into the final video. We don't know. But then you can say you were a part of it, or at least I gave you a chance. You can never say that I never gave you a chance. You can never say that you didn't know what was going on. I've been way more transparent about the things that I've done more than a lot of YouTubers. I wear my heart on my sleeve. If you see that I'm having a day that's full of frustration, you see that. I don't hide behind the camera's lens. That's not me. If you're looking for someone to do that, look somewhere else. It's not me. It's just not me. If you're looking for Chris Pirillo, you've come to the right places. Thank you for subscribing across the board. Thank you for paying attention. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. That's the one thing I cannot say enough. I do love you. I do appreciate you. I am going to go ahead and roll into the live patron hangout. This is another bonus that the Super Nomies get every day. We're trying to do it every day. I can't promise that, but today will be a day. We'll be hanging out. More behind the scenes stuff. Again, I give you a lot of myself. I'm just giving myself more of myself to the people who take that step forward. So thank you for doing that. Let's get to 1,000. Come on, let's do it. Let's do this. Let's do it. Let's do it. We'll do it live. We'll do it live. I love that. Not the guy. I love the saying. We'll do it live. Do it live. And now, to play you out. What does that mean? To play you out. What does that mean? I'm going to leave you to your own devices.